Right, so in my first year of teaching, I decided to give myself more work and did a mini action research project. Making problem solving and reasoning visible. So I did this with a top year 8 class, and my aim was to set a non-routine question because they could all tell me how to set out Pythagoras questions, expose students to language about problem solving and reasoning, informal to start, and see what students do to show their reasoning, so how they structure their work, whatever they do. So I did a very simple thing. How many rectangles? Show you're working out to convince her. So convince was kind of my reasoning word, and they would have heard that in English about argumentative, like arguments and stuff when they're writing. So initial confusion is students ask, what do you mean by working out? Because they're so used to writing numbers on pages. I said, what are you thinking about? When you solve this, write or draw what you are thinking. I try to not influence how they would do this. So that's why I gave a very vague answer to that. So here are some samples. Some students did a colouring method. So it was kind of hard to see how they actually worked it out. They just got a number at the end. I couldn't really give them feedback. I could just say, oh, good. Highlight. So it was highly likely that they would count double stuff, and because it was so kind of like overlapping and unwieldy to look. More successful method was like a breakdown method where students would draw each of the types of triangles and write what they saw, numbering them or grouping them. And it was clear to see what they did well, what they did. Systematic approaches led to the most likelihood of correct answer. Like this one here, someone got 38 because they double counted, and I was able to go through their working out to show, hey, you've double counted this, can you see it's here again? And so I was able to give feedback, and because we're talking about assessments and stuff, you want to be able to give students feedback, and I did this to give them like exposure to problem solving and getting them to communicate what they do in class. So also about the language of assessment, so over time it would become more formal, so they would know when when assessment comes that's not a test, they'll know what to do. And expectations, like I told some kids, do this again, it's too messy.